Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk. This is Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Zoe Hewitt, and this is our daily show, giving you all the news in the world of movies with insight into what it all means. Joining me as always is AMC Editor-in-Chief, John Campia. Hey John.
Hey Zoe, hello everybody, and continue on with the pattern of sharing. I'm sharing one personal, real-life story about myself every day. This is a long one, hold on. I think it was back in like 2006. I was freshly single and back on the dating scene, and I had set up a blind date for this one night, and I thought she was coming over at 7:30, and my buzzer rings at like 7:05. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's early, so I go down, let her in. She was a very pretty girl, so we're hanging out in my apartment for about 15, 20 minutes, and then my buzzer rings again. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? We're like around 7:30, and I go down to the door, and it was the girl who I was supposed to have a date with. I had double booked. I had double booked 2 blind dates, and I instantly thought to myself, well, this girl's prettier than the one in my apartment. So I went upstairs and let the other one know, I'm sorry, I have another engagement, I totally forgot. And that's, I'm a much better person today than I was back in 2006, just want you to know that. So that's my personal story for the day. Back to you, Zoe.
Well, I don't know if we can live up to that one, but also joining us is AMC News Associate Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach. Hey, Amy.
Hey there. It's funny, John. I was never on a blind date, but I did have a similar situation where I was double booked, and I did pick the cuter one too. So I feel you, brother.
It's human nature, folks. It's human nature.
Well, let's get started with this. As most of you know, the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past is a sequel to X-Men First Class, but has been adding actors from the original X-Men trilogy to reprise their roles as well. Already confirmed are actors like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Anna Paquin as Rogue, and Shawn Ashmore as Iceman. It now appears you can add one more name to that list. Academy Award winner Halle Berry stated in an interview that she's 90% sure she's returning to the new film as her character Storm. John, is this good news for X-Men Days of Future Past?
I'll be really honest with you. I'm kind of indifferent to this. I'm a little bit indifferent. I believe Halle Berry is a terrific actress. Mm-hmm. Yes, she's had some swings and misses, but overall she is an incredible talent. But I never bought her as Storm. I was never really into her as Storm. I'm into her a lot in a lot of other things, but as Storm, it just never seemed to be the right fit. And her and Bryan Singer, the director of X-Men, never really seemed to be able to find a way to really make that Storm character her own. So, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not against this idea. I would have been much more interested to hear that James Marsden was coming back as Cyclops, or that Femke Janssen was coming back as the Phoenix, or any of that. So I'm not against it, but I'm not really thrilled about this news either. What about you, Amy Rose?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Storm is a really cool character, and I think they made her really cheesy. And it's unfortunate, again, because Halle Berry is a really good actress, but they just didn't know how to work with the character. So maybe Bryan Singer is going to redeem it in the third one, if it does happen. But I'm kind of indifferent as well. I would have liked to see some other characters. On James Marsden, I didn't think Cyclops was presented very well either. So maybe it's a time to redeem some awesome characters the way they're supposed to be shown.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see one of those guys come back, but oh well.
Yeah.
I guess we'll do with Halle Berry.
It looks like Hermione Granger is all grown up and ready to go to the ball. Reports are surfacing claiming that Harry Potter actress Emma Watson is likely to play the lead role in the upcoming live-action film Cinderella. The film will be directed by Thor director and fellow Harry Potter alumni Kenneth Branagh. The studio hopes to start shooting this fall for a 2014 release date. Amy Rose, if this report is true, what do you think of Watson as Cinderella?
I dig it. Emma Watson is a great actress. For those who actually saw Perks of Being a Wallflower, she was fantastic. So dynamic, such a star. Like, I can't wait to watch her step out of the Hermione role and you know, really take on womanhood. And Kenneth Branagh, like, I'm in. Like, whatever he directs, I tend to be a big fan of. I saw Thor 4 times in the theater. I just love him. So I think the two of them will be really great. And also, isn't Cate Blanchett going to be
the Wicked Stepmother?
The Wicked Stepmother?
Yes.
This is shaping up to be really good. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, the Cate Blanchett part. I mean, like, her as the Wicked Stepmother.
Amazing.
The Kenneth Branagh thing, of course. Kenneth Branagh can do, in my opinion, absolutely no wrong. I wish he was. I remember I had originally really wished that he was directing Avengers before we saw Avengers and realized, no, Whedon did just fine, thank you very much. But on to Emma Watson, I have 2 minds on this. My one mind is that, how old is she now?
I don't know.
Is she 19 yet?
Probably 19.
Okay, then I can say she's hot.
20. No, she's hot.
She's turned into an absolutely gorgeous young
stunning.
woman. She's absolutely stunning, and you're right. Out of all of the Harry Potter kids that have grown up, she is, I think, the best performer. She has done fantastic with everything she's touched so far, and a role like Cinderella seems like a natural fit. It seems great. On the other hand, and this is more to do with what I would like to see for her, I think we've had this discussion before, I think to see her really break out of that mold, get out of the perception that she's Hermione Granger. I'd like to see her do more adult stuff. And by adult, I don't mean porn. I just mean...
You mean 50 Shades of Grey?
Maybe. Well, we have talked about her potentially. I would like to see her do, because Anne Hathaway, you know, when she was doing the Disney films and all the princess movies, she came out and did that one really sharp edge movie. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'll put it in the show notes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Where she did nudity and she did an adult scene and stuff like that. But it instantly snapped the perception of her in Hollywood that she was just the Princess Diaries girl. Does Hermione Granger really need to do that?
And now she just played a whore, from princess to whore, real fast.
There we go, just like that. Does Emma Stone have to do that? Maybe not, because maybe she's not as locked into that as maybe Anne Hathaway was. So I'm mixed on it. Look, from a Cinderella point of view, from the film's point of view, putting Emma Watson into it is great. Yeah. It's awesome. I just wonder if maybe it's the best move for her or not.
But could it be darker? Like, because I feel like all of the fairy tale adaptations have been really dark.
And especially with Kenneth Branagh doing with that Shakespearean tragedy background.
Exactly. So I feel like it could be really dark. Even Snow White, while reviews were mixed, it was a dark, cool take on it. Same with Jack the Giant Slayer. It looks like it's going to be fun, but also have dark undertones. So I feel like with Kenneth Branagh doing it, like, it might give her a little more, you know, ability to flex her acting chops that way.
That's a good point. All right, folks, listen, it's time for that part of the show called Buy or Sell. What's going to happen here is that Zoe's going to read off a bunch of other big items in the world of movie news, and Amy Rose and I are simply going to tell you whether we buy it or sell it. So, Zoe, what do we got?
Okay, well, the human race seems to have found its leader. It's been announced that Gary Oldman will play the leader of the human resistance in the upcoming Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, a sequel to 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The story takes place 15 years after the events of Rise of the Planet of the Apes and finds humanity all but wiped out by the race of super-intelligent apes. Part of the story centers on a group of scientists in San Francisco who are mounting a resistance against their new oppressors, while Caesar, Andy Serkis, struggles to maintain dominance over his kingdom. The film is set to come out May 23rd, 2014. John, buy or sell Gary Oldman in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
Gary Oldman playing Mickey Mouse, I buy it. Gary Oldman in anything, I buy it. It is never a mistake to add talent. Gary Oldman is as good as it gets. He is just one of the preeminent performers in the industry on the planet. And when he plays something, it's going to be good, so I completely buy it.
Completely agree. Buy. Gary Oldman, Mickey Mouse, let's make this happen. Him in anything. He's a fantastic actor. And Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a great surprise for me. I thought it was going to be cheesy, but I thought it was a really strong film. It was a really good film. So I think his addition will be great. So bye.
The second of the Hobbit movies, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, is set to come out this December 13th. The third and final film, The Hobbit, There and Back Again, was scheduled to come out just 7 months later on July 18th, 2014, but has just been pushed back another 5 months to December 17th, 2014. In a statement released yesterday, the studio claims the delay was to complete the trilogy the same way we started it, as a holiday treat for moviegoers everywhere. Amy Rose, buy or sell moving the third Hobbit film to maintain its holiday release tradition?
Sell. How could you do this to me? You can't just tease. You should have thought about tradition before. I'm all about honoring tradition, but you should have done that before you teased me, Jackson. Like, no. Sell. Keep it the way it is. 7 months is a long time.
I'm going to sell this, but for different reasons. I don't believe them for a second that it's because they want to maintain the holiday tradition. They could have thought of that a year ago. I believe the reason they're pushing it back is because, as we all know, they weren't originally planning on making it 3 films. They were originally going to make it 2 films. Now it's 3. I believe they're behind the 8 ball a little bit, or maybe they thought the summer competition was just getting a little bit too stiff in 2014. Either way, I don't buy their excuse for it, so I sell it.
And we know Jackson does post-production until like the week before it releases.
Well, we've got 2 buys and 2 sells, and apparently Jennifer Lawrence had skin problems while wearing the blue paint, playing Mystique in X-Men First Class, to the point that they once had to call a doctor to the set. As a result, Lawrence has just announced that instead of the traditional blue body paint, she'll be wearing a full blue body suit for X-Men Days of Future Past. She says it will cut out time and blisters. John, buy or sell Lawrence wearing a bodysuit for
I completely
Mystique.
sell this. I sell this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's tradition. The Mystique is the body paint. That's part of the sexiness of the outfit. That's part of who the character is. But the other thing is this. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you get blisters? You're getting paid how much to do this movie? $4 million? $4 million? Pierce your freaking tongue for $4 million. I'm sorry, you're not going to get any sympathy out of me. Look, I love Jennifer Lawrence. I do. You're going to get no sympathy from me for next. Oh, I got a rash. You also got a $4 million paycheck. So I sell this. Sorry.
I also sell it. Yeah, I mean, Mystique is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I just think she's badass, and it's got to be paint. Rebecca Romijn could do it. Come on, Jay Lawrence. And hello, you can cover me in paint, and I'll be Mystique, and let's do this. Like, geez, come on. Man up.
The Hobbit isn't the only film getting pushed around. It's just been announced that Kick-Ass 2 has been pushed back 2 months from its June release date. The film will now open in AMC theaters everywhere on August 16th. Amy Rose, buy or sell the delay for Kick-Ass 2?
I'll buy it. I'm not offended by 2 months. I'm really excited for this movie, and everything I've heard about it, the actors, the film photos, everything looks pretty awesome. So yeah, I will buy it. I'm okay with it.
I'm actually going to buy it as well. I mean, but look, moving it back, I think it's a good movie. As good and as awesome as Kick-Ass was, it's not as popular as it should be. Therefore, right in the heart of the summer movie season could be a little treacherous for it. So, yeah, I think it's not only am I okay with it, I think it's probably a good business decision to move
give it a
to the
shot.
end of the summer around August. So, yeah, overall, I buy it. Well, listen, folks, there's a whole bunch of other things going on in the world of movie news that we don't have time to go into, but we want to keep you up to date on everything going on. So this is our news roundup, and we start with this.
Actor Paul Bettany, known for films such as A Beautiful Mind, Priest, and being the voice of Tony Stark's computerized assistant Jarvis in the Iron Man films, has just joined Johnny Depp for the upcoming film Transcendence. The movie is said to be about a scientist whose brain gets uploaded into a supercomputer with the aim of creating the world's first machine that can think for itself. The film is tentatively set for a summer 2014 release.
Tina Fey is said to be joining the Jason Bateman film, This Is Where I Leave You. The film is said to be a comedy that centers on a man, Bateman, whose father dies and leaves the last request that his dysfunctional family spend the next 7 days together under the same roof. Fey would play Bateman's older sister, a married woman whose first love has suffered brain damage. No word on possible release dates.
Harry Potter icon Daniel Radcliffe is said to have joined the film Frankenstein for Fox Studios and will be playing the character Igor. The script for the film was written by Chronicle writer Max Landis, son of the infamous and famous wonderful John Landis. The film is set to go into production later this fall.
Bruce Almighty and Ace Ventura director Tom Shadyac is looking at directing the English remake of the international hit film The Untouchables. The original movie follows a wealthy white aristocrat who suffers a tragic paragliding accident that leaves him a quadriplegic. After cycling through a number of caretakers, the man bonds with a young, troubled immigrant caregiver. The film made just over $420 million with just a $9 million budget.
Academy Award winning filmmaker Sofia Coppola's new film, The Bling Ring, has announced a release date. The film about the group of teenagers who robbed the homes of the rich and famous between 2008 and 2009 will hit theaters in limited release on June 14th. The film stars Emma Watson and Leslie Mann.
And that's it for the news roundup. Well, listen, folks, if you've got a question you would like us to address on the show, you can email us your questions anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Once again, that's amcmovietalk@gmail.com. And every day we pick out a couple of them and answer them on air. So Zoe's got a few of them picked out in front of her. What do we got?
Lee from New Orleans writes, which of these Marvel Phase 2 movies do you think will do best at the box office and why? Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Captain America the Winter Soldier, or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Excellent question, because it's not the question which is the best,
Yeah.
which will perform the best at the box office. I believe it's got to be Iron Man 3.
Me too.
It is the most established of all of them. This will be his, 5th appearance as Iron Man? Fifth? No, fourth.
Fourth.
This will be his fourth appearance as
And
Iron Man.
Avengers 2
Unless
will
you
be fifth.
count his end credit scene in the Hulk, but whatever.
We
We'll call it
should. That
fourth.
was awesome.
It has traditionally been the most successful standalone film out of all of them. I still think out of all the Marvel films, not including Avengers, all the individual Marvel films, I think Thor was the best one. But I think, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Robert Downey Jr. is the biggest star. It's the most established character. Iron Man 3 is going to make the most money out of all of them. Amy Rose, do you
Ben
disagree?
Kingsley as the Mandarin is going to be awesome. And like, Iron Man 2 was not up to the standards of a lot of us. Like, it was not as good as Iron Man 1, but I do think they're going to get it back with Iron Man 3. So I feel like
With
all
Shane
the
Black
hopeful,
directing.
Yeah, exactly. So I do agree with that. But on that note, I think they're all going to crush it because they're all going to be great. So let's do this.
And now that Avengers has just blown up,
Yeah.
I think each one of these films, you're right. You raise a great point. Each one of these films will do better
Yes.
than their previous parts
Yes.
did because of Avengers.
Yes, and Thor, I mean, I could not be more excited about that. I think we both agree that was our favorite standalone.
All right, what's next?
Robert W. writes, "Hey guys, first off, just wanted to say I love the show and I am a huge fan. So recently pictures of the new Spidey suit were leaked and I was pretty excited to see it because I liked the official photo that was released, but then I saw the leaked photo. The suit's new big white eyes look cheesy and the suit resembles Tobey Maguire's a lot more. Do you think they made the right move switching the suit?"
It's important to keep this in mind. If you saw, let's say, Chris Hemsworth in a candid snapshot standing on a street corner in the Thor outfit, the Thor outfit would look cheesy.
I don't know.
And it would even. I'm not saying him shirtless. I'm saying in the Thor outfit that the outfit would look cheesy. If you saw a candid snapshot of Chris Evans standing here in the Captain America
Out of
outfit,
context.
it would look cheesy. But in the right frame, in the context, with the right lighting, with on 24 frames per second, blah blah blah, it just looks and feels different. I think that's going to be the case with the new Spider-Man outfit. Look, I really liked the Spider-Man outfit in the first film, but I gotta say, I really love how they're moving even closer to the comic book, and I think it's going to work. I personally really like the big white eyes, but remember, go by production pictures, not by candid snapshot pictures on set, because those will never look right. Amy Rose?
Yeah, I agree with you, Robert. Just like standalone, the eyes look really cheesy. But I do have faith, and I think the costume, like John was saying, is closer to the comic book. So we, of course, really like that. Toby's costume is fine, but I did really like Andrew Garfield's in the first film.
Me too.
So they've just evolved it a little bit, but I do think, as John's saying, in context, it won't look as cheesy. But standalone, it does look a little buggy.
All right, what's next?
Nicole M. writes, "Before I begin, I want to say I love your show. Regarding the upcoming Highlander reboot, I have been a huge fan of the movies and the television series since before I can remember. I adore the overall series, and with Ryan Reynolds for the part of Connor McLeod, I fear this will be another flop movie. I don't feel Ryan should even get the part. He doesn't seem like the type to play Connor McLeod. Do you guys think it's a good idea for Ryan Reynolds to get the part?"
Look, I love Ryan Reynolds.
Me too.
If you don't think he is a great actor, you simply don't know what you're talking about. He's a great actor. Like, there's so many of his films that are great. And once again, a lot of film fans make the mistake of thinking if an actor is in a bad movie, that means they're a bad actor. Not at all. You can have great actors in bad movies all the time. Phantom Menace. So that can happen. And Reynolds is just terrific. However, The Highlander is in my top 10 favorite films of all time. The Highlander 2 is one of the worst films ever made, but the first one is one of my all-time favorites. And Ryan Reynolds, just in my head, this is just a bad fit. He's got the talent for it, but it's a bad fit. He is not Connor McLeod. I mean, when I think of The Highlander, I think of Christopher Lambert. I mean, he was just so good in that, so iconic. I can't see, if I see Ryan Reynolds on screen belting out some thick Scottish accent from the Highlands, all I'm going to see is Ryan Reynolds. I'm not going to see the character. So he is a phenomenal talent. I just don't personally see this as a fit. What are your thoughts on Ryan Reynolds in general?
Well, first off, I don't want them to remake this classic. Just leave it alone. It was amazing.
Nah, redo it.
No, don't. It was amazing. But if you're going to, yeah, I mean, I agree. I really like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Hal Jordan wasn't his fault. The film was awful, but that wasn't his fault. I do think he's a great actor, and a bad script's a bad script. You can't really do much to shine in that environment. But I don't see him as the role either. I just don't. But I believe in his acting abilities enough to think that he might prove us wrong.
Sure.
And sure, even though I don't want them to remake it, I'm still really excited to see it.
All right, last one.
Diego C. writes, "Hi everyone, I'm a recent subscriber to your channel and so far I love it. My question is regarding the new Pixar movie coming out, Planes. What are your thoughts on the new movie based on the trailer? Personally, I'm not a big fan of the movie Cars and Cars 2. I think they're one of the Pixar's weakest movies. This new movie, Planes, worries me since it takes place in the same universe as Cars. Hope to be wrong, but I just want to know your predictions and thoughts."
It looks like Top Gun with planes. I think it looks pretty cute.
Didn't Top Gun have planes?
It looks like Top Gun with planes, like no humans in them, like just the planes. Like the planes have the personalities instead, like Maverick and Goose and all of that. It looks like they're taking on the personas of that. Even like the beginning scene was just like it. So I don't know, I think it looks cute. I agree, I really liked Cars, but it wasn't my favorite of the Pixar films. But I think they know what they're doing. I mean, Pixar always makes really clever, great films. So maybe have the faith. I think it might prove you wrong.
I'm with you in the sense that I thought Cars was okay. I didn't think it was a bad film. And I thought Cars 2 was pretty weak. They are amongst the weakest films that Pixar's ever done. But here's the thing. You have to understand, John Lasseter, who is now the supreme high emperor of all things Pixar and Disney, that is his baby. Cars is his baby. It's the one film stuff that he'll still direct himself. And as long as that's the case, you're going to see Cars stuff. There is no way that this movie Planes should be happening when we're still waiting for an Incredibles 2. Just no way. But it's John Lasseter's baby, so Pixar's going to continue living in this universe. And I thought the trailer was cute.
It was cute.
I think it's interesting. But I will say this. While I'm not thrilled with the idea of them doing Planes, and I'm not thrilled with the trailer, it was kind of cute, but I'm not thrilled with it, I have to remind myself, I really thought WALL-E looked stupid.
WALL-E was amazing.
I thought it looked really bad. I thought the trailer looked weak. I thought the concept sounded bad. And then, I believe it was the best film that year. It was so good and so wonderful. So I am always going to give Pixar the benefit of the doubt, including with Planes. Listen, folks, we've run out of time, but while I've got you, before you do anything else, stop what you're doing. Click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber, like Diego, to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date every day on all the movie news, our editorials, and of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. If you want an audio-only edition of today's show and all of our shows, look into the description of this video and you'll find links to iTunes and Stitcher Radio so you can listen to us on your commute to work or to school or while you're at work or in school. It doesn't bother me. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And listen, go out and see a movie tonight. Head on over to amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. And once again, click that subscribe button. I want to thank our host today, Miss I was going to say Huey DeWitt.
I can go by anything.
Zoe Hewitt. Zoe, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Huey DeWitt. Also, I want to thank our AMC Movie News Associate Editor, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Have a great weekend, lovelies.
And thanks to you guys. Listen, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say up here. It's what you have to say. Jump down into the comments section, leave your thoughts on any or all the topics we've covered today or any of the stuff that we said. You agree, you disagree, jump on in there. We read all the comments that you put there. Once again, my name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.